Last thing that I cherry picked, Bret Hart, a lot of people think his last match was against Goldberg at Starrcade when he got the concussion and the kick to the face. He had a couple more under his belt. His second to last match at that time he ever had before the WWE comeback, and that terrible match with Vincent Mania. My God, I know, I see you squinting right now. Bret Hart versus Terry Funk in a hardcore match on Thunder from like January 2000. On paper,
this could have been really good.
These guys, technically, this is one of Terry Funk's 500 retirement matches at the Sportatorium or wherever it was. Bret and Terry Funk from Beyond the Mat or Wrestling with Shadows, whatever movie
that was right before Bret left WWE.
Now, on paper, should have been a classic. But this is not quite what we watched.
As soon as they introduced it as a hardcore match, I was like,
Yeah.
But I mean, Terry Funk at this time, what was he really able to do other than a hardcore match? He wasn't going to put on a technical masterpiece.
I got to give him credit, though. He's still going out there, the crazy man he is. That jackknife at the end off the stage that Terry Funk was.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could be a crash test dummy.
Yeah,
that's basically what he was at this point in his career, which is what he had been the past couple years in WWE. They basically used him for crash test dummy spots or hardcore matches. People don't realize how good Terry Funk was in the 70s and 80s. Terry Funk might have been the best worker in the world for a little while.
We talked about it earlier with the old line and Edge. Now
they did Harley Race probably, and Ric Flair of course, probably the three best workers in the world from the 70s and 80s standpoint.
Can you tell how much we love Thunder? We're trying to get off any topic. I feel like a Terry Funk could work in any generation. You could bring him back now.
I mean, credit to him for evolving and knowing what he had to do to make money at his later age in life. It's kind of sad to think about. But it's also kind of cool to think, hey, this guy found a different way to make money in a third and fourth decade of working in the business. Yeah. So, I mean, kudos to Terry Funk. But back to this match, Travis. This match was awful.
It was awful. And knowing what we know now, I mean, how can we hate on Bret for this match?
He was obviously not himself, dealing with concussion symptoms.
And nWo 2000. Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, The Outsiders, one of the worst fucking ideas ever done. It was way time in 2000. Let's just let the nWo go. But they never learned that lesson, did they?
They didn't learn the lesson, and they didn't put the right people in it.
No.
Like if
Jeff
you're gonna
Jarrett?
Bret Hart in the nWo
made no sense. Even before this, when he was in nWo Hollywood, made no fucking
Bret
sense.
Hart is not a secondary faction member. If you're going to have Bret Hart in a faction, he needs to be the leader of it. Look at the Hart Foundation. Yeah. Possibly one of the greatest factions that nobody ever talks about anymore.
It was so good.
That faction was phenomenal.
And we're only 3 years removed from that when this match happened.
And Bret was the leader of the faction. So now you put Bret as the World Heavyweight Champion, but he still doesn't feel like the leader of nWo 2000, does he?
No.
It's the Outsiders. It's Hall and Nash.
They went for that shock value. And then this isn't about nWo 2000, but they went for that shock value on Nitro. And Bret won the title at the Mayhem tournament from Benoit in the finals. It was looking like they're finally doing right by Bret. This is what he should be booked at. And then all of a sudden, we need to swerve him, bro. And it's not even Russo because he wasn't even fucking there. That's the sad part.
I don't know who was booking at this point. I guess it was Kevin Nash.
I guess.
In 2000? Was Kevin Nash booking?
50 fucking people booked in 2000 for WCW.
Whoever it was.
My mailman booked for WCW in 2000.
Whoever it was, they fucking sucked, okay?
And it's fair to say Thunder sucked. As a whole.
It was awful.
It was awful. It was unneeded. And the idea was right.
Might have been one of their biggest downfalls.
I don't really see why they needed another show when you had WCW Worldwide, WCW Pro, WCW Saturday Night had been on there since the 70s.
You know, a lot of people talk about Goldberg getting beat as the biggest downfall in WCW.
Finger poke of doom.
Yeah, they talk about but WCW Thunder, I don't think gets mentioned nearly enough.
Between Thunder and what we go through now with that third hour of Nitro tacked on, where it just became... where it just became more filler. The exact fucking thing. And the stupid, boneheaded fucking decision. I can't imagine why they lost in the ratings every week when Nitro would end. Immediately followed by what? The replay of Nitro!